Okay, I am back, and now I'm here to explain a couple of basic elements of music terminology to you all. So, first of all, what am I holding? I warned you all before. I went to college for trombone. This is a trombone in all of its brassy glory. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go through a couple of the fundamentals that are outlined in your first course page, the music terminology page, and hopefully by actually playing some of these things, I'll make it a little bit easier to understand. So the first and most basic element that we'll be talking about, and sort of one of the two core building blocks of music, is pitch. So everything has pitch, from when you drop a spoon on the floor to when you yelp out loud because you dropped a spoon on the floor. All of these have specific pitches. Now, what pitch is pitch is the actual frequency of any kind of note or any kind of sound. So pitch could be, so that's a note, that's an F for what use it is. And pitch basically tells me how low or how high that note is. So is it this, or this, or this? All of those are the same note, but they are in different octaves, which basically is a way of dividing pitch. In Western music, we usually divide pitch evenly into 12 perfect divisions of an octave, and an octave is just when you double a pitch. So this, if I doubled it, would be this. And if I made the frequency of the sound waves go twice as fast, we'd get to this. And in most Western music, we divide that evenly in 12, so that sounds like this. So, that's pitch. Divided evenly in 12. Each one is, when we're describing pitch, we're talking about how low or how high something sounds. So, the next of the two core basic principles of music is rhythm. So, if pitch tells us where we are in lowness to highness, rhythm tells us where we are in time. So, rhythm is basically where pitches fall in time. So, take, for example, something like Happy Birthday. I'm going to play it once the way you've probably heard it, and then I'm going to change the rhythm slightly. So, right? Sounds normal. So now I'm going to change the rhythm slightly. Right? So, same pitches, but the rhythm was changed slightly. I made it a little bit more punchy. So rhythm is basically just how we describe where things fall in time. Now, rhythms can be, what a set of drums play. It can also denote, how fast or how slow a series of pitches are going by. But when we're talking about how fast or slow the music actually is progressing, so how fast or slow a melody is, that is what we use the word tempo to describe. So tempo describes literally how fast or slow a piece of music is. So now I'm going to play Happy Birthday one more time. First I'm going to play it at a slow tempo, and then I'm going to play it at a fast tempo. In both cases, the pitch will stay the same, the rhythm will stay the same. What will change is the tempo. So here it is slow. Now we're going to play it faster. So this is a faster tempo. So sorry that I'm playing Happy Birthday so much. It's just literally the easiest thing to get through. So we've heard tempo, we've heard rhythm, we've heard pitch. So the next thing that I'd like to describe is something that is a little bit more ethereal. It's a little harder to wrap your head around, and but also is one of the most useful ways for describing the differences between sounds. Now this is timbre, spelt Timbre. It looks like timbre, but it's pronounced timbre. So timbre basically describes the quality of one kind of sound. We often use it to describe voices. You can either describe a voice as something like rich or full-bodied or thin and whispery. So I'm going to play a couple of notes with a variety of different timbres. So in every case, the pitch will stay exactly the same, but what I will change is timbre to give you a little idea of what we use timbre to describe. So that last one was just a mistake. But the other three were a variety of different timbres. So something more clear, something more thin and whispery. On that last one, I did a little bit of rolling my tongue, which gave it more of like an aggressive, bitey timbre. So all of these were, again, the instrument was the same, the pitch was the same, but what changed was the actual timbre or texture of the sound. Now, the last thing that I'd like to get into that we won't cover just basically in the terminology page for this is meter. Meter can be hard to wrap your head around, especially since most of the music you've heard is only in 1 meter. But if we think back to our definition of rhythm was how pitches or how notes are organized in time, meter is basically a larger structure of organizing rhythm. So that basically all our rhythm isn't out there willy-nilly. There's like a larger structure. So most any song that you listen to on the radio, you can usually tap your foot to. The reason you can tap your foot is because the meter is regular in the piece of music. It's not like jumping all over the place. That's why it feels like a normal, regular rhythm that you can dance to or tap your foot along to. Now, most music that you've heard on the radio odds are is in an even meter, so that means something that's evenly subdivided into, usually 4, but more often 2. So when you listen to something, if you can like pick any song that you've been listening to lately, tap your foot along to it. If you can easily count 4, then odds are that piece is written in 4. So you're feeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, occasionally you'll get something in an uneven meter, like 3 is sometimes common. So if you've ever heard like a waltz, you'll hear the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's what you've most often heard 3, 4. But like I said, most everything you're going to hear is in 4 rather than 3. Occasionally, as we get into some more challenging stuff over the course of the semester, you'll even hear things like mixed meter, which means I'm going to take a little bit from 2, I'm going to take a little bit from 3, put it together and to get something like 5. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You could even get into, weird stuff like 11, which would be, that's a hard one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So these are all different kinds of meters. To demonstrate that a little bit more, I'll return to that old classic favorite, Happy Birthday, one more time. First time I'm going to play it in 3, which is what generally it's played in, and then I'm going to move it a little bit so that it fits into a 4/4 meter. So this is Happy Birthday in 3. So I'll count off myself 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll play it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll do that one more time in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so now I'm going to move it slightly so that it fits into 4. So this is going to move it so instead of the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I'm hitting on my knee is I'm accenting 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to count myself in and then I'll play it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that didn't work right. Sorry. Apologies. We're doing this live. Okay, so I'm going to give myself 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, and then it'll make sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So moved it around a little bit so that it fits into 4, but meter, again, is that larger structuring of is it in 3, is it in 4, what is the beat that you feel when you try and count along when you're clapping on 1 or 2. So, for the remainder of our music terminology, the page for this lesson should be able to take care of the rest. And over the course of the semester, as we get into certain specific musics, we'll have to address other terms that come up to sort of really expand our vocabulary so that we're able to describe things in as much detail as possible. But this should give you a rough start so that when you get into your first writing assignment or things like that, we'll be able to describe, specifically what kinds of things you're hearing. Because like I said at the top of this page, specificity is the soul of narrative, and we really want to be able to get into over this course how to describe music in more specific terms to really get to develop more critical analysis for what we're listening to. So continue on with the rest of the lesson, and I will see you the next